Hello everybody, hope you guys are doing great today. This is session number 9 for beginners on guitar, and you guys got an up and close look at the guitar neck and the nut and just these first 4 frets, right? 1 fret, 2 fret, 3 fret, 4 fret. And we are working on these fingerings that we just keep really together, right? Just simple. And when we hit an open string, that's called open. And remember, this is the first string, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And so our fingers are just staying on the frets. So my first finger's staying on the first, the second's on the second, the third's on the third, the fourth's on the fourth. And hope you guys are getting through that. Pretty simple and pretty easy. Today we're going to work on chords and what chords are. And you guys have been working on kind of some of your fingerings. So you've played little chords like this already, and now we're going to get into some more traditional looking chords. And the way I'm going to do this is, what we've done is we've already played these scales of every note. We've done a couple different scales on there, and and so now what we're going to do is use our fingers, and we're going to put them on certain areas of where we've been working on, and that's going to form a chord. Now, a chord, basically speaking, is just a 3 notes. That's all it is. Woo, 3. That's all. So, I mean, check that out. If you could play 3 notes, I mean, you pretty much got a chord. Pretty amazing, huh? Yeah, it's really simple. Nothing hard at all. Sometimes with our fingers, though, for whatever reasons, you might have played a ton of video games, so your fingers are jacked because they're kind of messed up in a certain way, or maybe your fingers are, you worked manual labor, and so your hands are a little stiff, or it could be you have arthritis too, and it's really difficult to put your fingers on the neck of the guitar. And I always recommend you put a capo on. I showed you guys that where we put the capo on. Remember what that capo looked like? I can't remember where mine is right now, but it's that little thing that kind of latches onto the neck, and it works as though it's a nut. So just as this nut basically is the starting point of where the sound's going to be all on this side. You can't play anything on this side. If I were to hit this on the guitar, it doesn't do anything. It's just really nothing. So if I move the nut though here, then I just have to worry about areas over here. If I put the nut here, then I just have to worry about things here, and it all works relative. So if it's too hard for you to play over here because it's a little more down, you could always put the nut, the capo, over here, and then you're just worrying about playing over here. So whatever, it's relative in the sense that whatever I teach you over here, it's relative to the nut. So if you put a capo on over here, it would work. The same ideas. So 3 notes. So in order to know chords, you have to know the notes, right? It makes sense. So you have to know the lettering of the notes where they're at on the guitar. And so because notes are all go off of frequency, a guitar is tuned to a certain frequency, and then we have the notes that are relative to those frequencies. So on a guitar, we have the open string, which is E, and then the second fret we have F, and then the third fret we have G. Now we can run these letters all on the same string and go all the way up the neck, But what we're going to do is go down to the next string and then go down to the next string, etc. So, but you could, in theory, just cut. You could literally snap all your strings, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and just have a guitar with this 6th string up here, and you just could play notes, right? You could play all the notes of the guitar. You couldn't play a chord because a chord is 3 notes together, struck at the same time. So you couldn't do that with 1 string, but you could play the actual notes. So looking at the neck, and you see the nut here, that is F. So if that's F, you know that that's F too, because remember, this is E, this is an E string, and this is an E string. So whatever you do here and here, it is the same, which is great, because that means all you have to work now with is these other strings, right? These middle 4, because these 2 are the same. So if this is F, this is F. This is G, this is G. So we got that, F and G, F and G. Now on the next string, the 5th string is A, open is A, and then you have a B, which is your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret. So we're staying within this kind of framework that we've done our scale on. 2nd finger, 5th fret, B. Then we have 3rd finger, 3rd fret, C. So what we have right now is an E, we have a F, we have a G, we have an A, which is the next string open, and then we have a 2nd finger, 2nd fret, B, and then we have a 3rd finger, 3rd fret, same 5th string, and that is the C. Now all we need is one more actual note, and that's it. That's all guitar has. So isn't that crazy? Yeah, you're thinking this is going to be really tough, but actually guitar is pretty simple because it's only you only got a few notes. You only got 7. So the next one is a D. So the 4th string open is D. So that's it. Lesson over. You're done. You guys are pros. So all you need is E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Right? Does that make sense? So E, whoa, that's what we got right there. So pretty simple, because that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you played the next note, E, we're right back to E. Isn't that crazy? We're right back to E. And then it just repeats. Everything else is an octave, what we call an octave. It's the next octave. An octave is just, it can be an octave lower or it can be an octave higher. An octave just means it's either higher or lower, right, than the frequency that you're starting from. So you're starting from this E up here, this open note E. If you're going to play an octave, it would be there, or it could be here. Right? Remember? This string is the same as that string. So in the scale, a scale is just 7 notes. There's the 7, is the open D. And then if you wanted to repeat, okay. Now, I'm going to have you guys do something on your own just so you can hear it. And I'm not going to tell you so much where your fingers go, but you're going to have to figure it out so you can have your ear kind of think through this. If you already know that's E, that's F, that's G, that's A, that's B, that's C, that's D, and then that's the whole scale, right? Just the 7 notes, and the 8th is the octave. Then within these 4 frets, find the next notes. And now you might go, well, I don't even know where those are at, Bo. Well, let me just give you a hint. When you play a note, it's probably going to be either the next one or the next one, right? And it keeps going up, but what we're doing is instead of going up the neck, we're going to the next string, okay, and hitting the next string. So you pretty much know that if this right here, this E is octave to this E, all you have to do is remember how the pattern went, the formula, and that's the word to use, the formula. Look at how this formula goes. Now look at the formula. We played open, and then we just went 1 fret up, and we hit that, which was the F. So if you're here on this E, it's going to be 1 fret up. There it is, just like it was here. It was open, that was the 1. 1 fret, right? We went from open, right, where the nut's at, it's open. Then we went just 1 to the F. And then we skipped this one and went to the next one. Whoa, so that's a little jump, right? We went from here to here. So let's think, we're here, we're on this note, the octave. We're there. Now we have to go 2 up, which if we move 2 up, it would be, that's 1 up. We'd have to slide either up, or we can go to the next string and just hit the next string open. And for this demonstration, we're going to just go to the next string open. Because remember, we're just really working with 4 frets in these lessons. That's all we're doing. If we can master these 4 frets and the strings and the notes that are on them, then you're going to master everything on the guitar, really. So it's just really learning these areas. So check this out. So you have the octave. Then you saw that the next note was this one here, you know, when you were playing it originally. So it's going to be 1 up. And then we went 2 frets up. So that's 1. But now we are running out of our little space. So let's go to the next string. Oh, cool. So there. Right? So that's here. Remember, we were playing there. So that's the octave. And then remember when we went from here, we went to the next string, right? Which is actually 2 frets over from here. So when you're on this what's called a G, the octave G, we have to go 2 frets over. So there's 1, there's 2. So there's our A. You see that? So then 5th string open, and this string and this note is the same. And then remember, we went from A to B, and that was, the B was right here. So if this is the A and this is the B, that's the A, that's the B. How many frets is that? Well, the A is the open, it's the nut. And we're going 2 frets more. So we skipped this one. We went to this one. So that's 2. So we're here. So we got to go 2 more. 1, 2. Isn't that cool? Now that might be hard for you, just because you're using your pinky, but what's kind of weird is the next string is the same note. So you can always go open to the second string too. Or you can play it on the 4th fret, 4th finger, 3rd string. So this is what it looks like so far with playing the octaves. And then where do we go from here? We're on B. And we got to get to E. And remember what we did here? Open. So C to D was how far? No, that's not right. It was it was 2 frets over. So now if we're playing this B, then where is the D? Right? We have to, so let's look at this. E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And then we're back to the beginning. D, E, or E, sorry, that's the E octave, E, F, G, A. We can play our B here, and then C is there. So remember we did this. That's just this. Then after we did that, after we went to C, we went to the next string, which was a D, which is another 2 frets over. We're just playing it on the open 4th. So when we're here on the octave of the C, then you just go D, 2 over. Now the reason why this is important is because you're learning where the notes are, right? And that's important to know. And you're learning them through the octave. So if that's an E, you're learning that's an E. You're learning that's an E, right? So you already got 3 E's that you can play, which is cool. F, you're learning that's an F, right? And if this is an F, that means this is an F. That's all the F. So I got my F's. Here's a G. G. There's my G. It's open. 3rd string. And then if this is G, this is G. See? So right wherever your finger plays on this 6th string, it's going to be the same on this string. And then there's a G right in the 3rd string. Now you got to figure this out, like where the notes are at, because a chord is made up of 3 notes, like I told you. So if I said, hey, let's play an E chord, you got to know that there's 3 notes that are going to be in that E chord, and there's a formula to what the chord is. And the formula to a chord, a basic chord, is the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th. That is the formula of the scale. Isn't that cool? The 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th of that chord scale, or that note scale. So say for instance we're in the key of C, right? Then you just go C is 1. But if you went down the scale, you would go, let me do this where you can see it. Where's my camera? Right there. So C, D, E, F, G, and that's all we need. Is it's going to be the first, the third, and the fifth. That's so we can put these down, and that's what we're going to work on, is the first, the third, and the fifth. That's the notes we need. So that was C, this one was E, this one was G. So we need to know where to play the C, E, G on this area right here, right? If I could figure that out, then I got the chord. So we knew that was E, we knew that was F, we knew that was G, we knew that was A, we knew that was B, we knew that was C. So guess what? We got C. And we already hit the E, right? So we had C, we had E, and then what was the fifth? G. So where was the G? There was a G right here. So, but the problem is that's on the same note as the E, right? So what do? We have more strings. That's why guitars have more strings, now you get it, right? So we need more strings because we couldn't, even with 2 strings, we might be able to hit 2 notes together, but we still need that third one to determine what the chord really is, right? We need 3. Just as God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in one, the unity of the 3, so a chord is made up of 3. That's right. And we can expand on that, but we can't go beneath that to really determine exactly what the chord is. So we need the 3. So there's theology right in there too. So remember that. So now that you know that C, if you want to play a C chord, you need an E and you need a G. And you know you got a G here, you know you got an E here, you know you got a C here, but you can't have play 2 notes on the same string. That's impossible, right? So let's say we play this open E. Let's say we play this C like that. And let's find another G. Where's the other G? See, now you need to know where your octaves are at, right? The G, another G is right there. It's an open 3rd string. It's this string open. So now you're thinking, you're going, whoa, okay, I'm making this up. So I got an open E, I got a C note right there, and I got an open note right here. So let me play this. Now with my right hand, I'm actually plucking these 3 notes together. That is a chord. When you strum it, each one individually, that is an arpeggio. So that's the difference between the 2. Plucking is when you use your fingers to pluck the string together, and then when you separate the notes, that is an arpeggio. So I'm going to strike these 3 notes, that's a chord, 3 notes together. Well, I separated it for you. Let me kind of... Now what I'm asking you to do I'm asking you to do this so that I don't want to just teach you show you like chords. I want you to understand the theory behind it so you can do it yourself. You can make up your own things. The reason why is because if your fingers are hurting and you have arthritis or you have an issue going on, if you know where the notes are, then you don't have to do the chords the way maybe your worship leader or whoever else you see doing those chords. You don't have to do them that way. They're doing them that way because their fingers can do them that way, but you don't have to. Like for instance, our worship leader plays chords. He plays a C like this all the time. He's using all these other notes, right? It's all C, E, G. Those 3, right? But you might not be able to do that. So what we do is we're just taking basic. We've got 2 open notes, right? We got an E, we got a G. We know an E's here too, and we know this is a G. We know That's an open G. So this string is open, that's a G. We know that we needed an E. We know that's an E. Is there a G that we can find on this second string? You know, is that where a G is? Let's see. Remember that was B, the open B. There was a C. Oh, there's a C right there. So we could find a C. And that's what we needed, really. We didn't need the G, we needed a C, because we got the G right here. And we got an E right here. So let's hit those. Whoa! So there's your C. Isn't that crazy? It's just all I'm doing is putting my first finger on the second fret, or on the first fret, sorry. First finger, first fret, just like in our kind of the way we've done our scales. Just first finger, second fret, and I'm just playing this string, the third string, the second string, and the first string. So a chord is 3 notes. A chord is plucked together. If you have a pick, like a guitar pick, like let me grab a pick. Pick. You would just play those 3 notes. And that's your C. Okay? So now, see, this is great because if you have a sheet of music of your favorite worship jam and it has a C on it, it says play C, you might go, man, I can't do this. Or I can't do this. You know, or whatever they're asking for, you know? And so but can you do this? You know, can you just put your first finger on the second string, first fret, and just play those first three strings? There you go. So you think of a song that might start in C, right? You know, and that's the easy way to play it. Just like that. Okay. So let's do this now. So we're in C, and we did the C, E, G, right? So now, remembering that every chord has 3 notes to it, and it's the first, the third, and the fifth, you're going to be able to now learn all the chords. And you know where the notes are at. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. It repeats now, right? And then it repeats. And that's as far as we're going right now, or else we'd have to keep going up the neck. But so now the trick is if I said like build a G, what would that look like? Well, you'd have to pull out your fingers and go G. And I always get a little notepad, and you know, when I was a kid, and I just went G, A, B, C, D. And then I would just underline the first, the third, and the fifth. B, D, F. Okay? B, D, F. And then you go, okay, G. Where's a G? Oh, well, I remember from putting together my C that there's a G here, and there's a G here on this open. So if I'm playing, if that's my C, and there's my G, then maybe I'll just have my G there. So I got to find a B and a D on these notes somewhere here. If I can find a B and a D. Well, I got a G, and check this out. This one is B. that's a B, right? This second string open is B. And then I have an E, which I don't really need, right? I need a G, B, and a D. So that's not working. So I got to kind of figure this out. So I have a B, remember that's C, and then D. So this is D right here. So I have a G and a D, or a G and a B, but I still need I need 3 to make the chord. So what do? Well, where's my another D? Oh, well, check this out. My fourth, I got a D. That's the D right there. The fourth string open is D. So the fourth string open is D. The third string open is G. And the second string open is B. Well, what did I need? A G, a B, and a D. So let's play that. And all I'm doing is, I don't even have to put my fingers on anything. So here's my C. Isn't that cool? So can you do that? Can your fingers do that move where you just go from here to, that's the C. And now I'm just going to play these strings open. The harder part is probably just if you're not used to plucking the string, because remember, you have to pluck the string if you want to just stick to the 3. You could use your pick again and just be real disciplined and just play those 3. So if you're a beginner and you see a song that's in the key of G, it says key G, then you put that song in the key of C. Everything's going to be in C major. That's what we're kind of working on right now, is C major. So everything, you can't play minor stuff right now, like a minor song, because that's a little more advanced. But you can start with the majors, because we're working with a C major idea here. And that uses all the notes just as their regular notes. There's no sharps or flats. And if you don't know what sharps or flats in, just look it up on Google. Sharp just means one up. Flat just means one down. And so when we start switching keys, then we start getting into sharps and flats. And that's a lesson for another day. But for right now, we're just working with the actual where the notes are at. And then we're just working with C, E, and G. And that would be considered a C major. C, E, G. First, third, fifth of the C chord. And then we're staying within that C major scale. So now we're going to do another. We did G, which is G within C is just a G, B, D. So let's take another one, and let's take D. Let's now go to D, and let's do it. One more demonstration. So D, I'm writing this down too. E, F, G, A. So what we have is a D, an F is the third, and an A is the fifth. So you write it out and you underline the first, the third, and the fifth. D, F, A. Well, this was your C. Those three notes open were your G. Now we got to find a D. So we have a D, F, A. Well, we know that this note is D already. We already know that, let's see. We know an A. We haven't done an A yet, but we know that there's an A really close because we know D's here. And so we know that this is a G. This string open is G, and after G is A. So we know an A can be right here. Because remember, G to A is right there. G to A. Remember, it's just like here. Which would be 2 over. So we're just going to the next string, but here's the octave. G, 2 over is 1, 2. A. So we have a D, we have an A. Now we need an F. So where are we going to find an F? So we know on this string, the second string, that is B. And then we had a C. And then we had a D. And then remember, this is just the same as this, so it's E. Then we had an F. So we know we got an F here. So we have 2 notes here, right, that are open. D, G, and then we have that F. And again, I'm plucking that. I'm using my fingers. So that was it. It's just your one finger, first finger on the first fret, first string. There's your D. So check this out. Here's your C. Here's your G. And here's your D. That's it. So that would be your D. There your C, and then your G is open. And then your C is... So that's how you start building chords. Hopefully you're seeing now that if you had to put a sticker on your instrument and put an E, F, open A, then B, then C, then E. If you could put stickers on them, right, then you'd be able to go, oh, I need the E. Here's an E. Here's an E. And that's what we're doing is when you see people playing their chords and they're spread out like this, they're just playing octaves. They're just playing the same notes, but they're just playing it in different areas. So it gives it a different sound. And that's why when you hear me play a C like this, you go, hey, that doesn't sound like the C I'm used to. Well, that's right, because you're used to hearing someone play. Which they're playing more than 3 notes because they're playing octaves too. So they're playing 3 notes, and then they're playing those 3 notes probably in their octaves. And they're strumming all those strings together. So that's why it sounds so what we call full. But you don't need them. It's not what's needed, really. You could play just the C like this. You could play the D with these 2 open, and then put your first finger here. And you could play the G just with these, the second, third, and fourth open. And then C. But C is always the root. It's always, that's what we're in, is C. So C is the start of all your songs. So if you've got a song that's in G, get it transposed, what we call transposed into C major. You can't play a minor now, right now, but you can play the majors and put everything in C. So C is going to be your starting. We got the D. We got the G. And now what you got to do this week is you got to build off that, because now we have 3 chords, we have 4 more to go, right? So if we have C, we have G, we have D, we have some other ones we got to do, right? So you have F, well, you have E, F, B, and I'm missing one, right? You have E to do, F to do, you have B to do. And which one am I missing? Let's see. A. You haven't done A. So, because you've done C, you've done G, you've done D, and now you have E, F, B, A. Remember, 1, 3rd, and 5 of those scales. So E, and then you go E, F, G, A, B. So what do you have? E, G, B. You have to find an E, G, B. Remember, write that down. You know, the scale E, F, G, A, B, and then underline 1, the 3rd, and the 5th, and then try to find those notes here. And then what you'll do is you'll have all of them, and then you'll be like, whoa, that's great. And then next week what we can do is we can go, okay, let's learn a little bit about sharps and flats and how this thing works. Okay, so great lesson. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.